old folks back in the day used to say, he may not come when you want him, but he'll be there right on time. I didn't mean to go all soul, South,
gospel,
black, gospel,
Kirk
Pentecostal
Franklin,
on you.
Fred Hammond.
But let me tell you, as I said on 2 episodes ago,
Tasha Cobbs,
I don't know how you cannot believe the Bible. So many things in the Bible are just playing themselves out.
BB and CeCe Winans.
He calling out all the gospel artists, but yes, okay. So
Ty Tribbett.
Make sure you do what you got to do to make sure that you are good. And that's actually going to bring me to this clip I'm going to let you guys watch real quick about Keke Palmer talking about how Nicki Minaj came up to her at the Met Gala when the whole thing was going on with her and her baby daddy situation. And, Nicki came up to Keke and was like, I don't read the press. I don't know everything that's going on, but nobody knows what we go through. So when we go home, when we're behind closed doors and we turn off the lights at night, nobody knows what we have to deal with in our heads. Nobody knows what we have to deal with emotionally. But she said, you do whatever you have to do to make sure that you're good.
Oh, can you tell us what the advice was?
Yeah, so we were at the Met Gala, and I was with Marc Jacobs, and he was talking with Charlie Jacobs and Nicki Minaj over there. They were over to the corner. And I know Nicki because she, on DM, she connected me to David LaChapelle for my baby shower photos. And so I wanted to tell her in person, thank you, And so I walk over there, and she's in the middle of talking to them. She's like, I need to talk to you. Hold on. And I'm like, I done did something. Nicki about to cuss me out at the Met Gala.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and wait and see what she had to say. And then she's like, look, I don't read the press. I don't know everything that's going on. But I just wanna tell you, nobody knows what it's like when we turn off the lights and we gotta be with ourselves. So you do whatever you need to do to be good with you. And I was like, yeah!
I love you, that's right!
Bad advice.
That is not bad advice.
Usher came on to someone else's woman.
What does that have to do with anything?
That's what the situation was.
No.
Yes.
Okay, pause.
Don't.
Pause.
Whatever you have to do, whatever she might want to do is with Usher. That ain't your man.
Oh my gosh, you have just ran off the railroad track because that is not where it was going.
That's what the situation was.
That was not. First, pause. That was not what the situation was. I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. You're talking about the whole thing where she went viral about that situation. And so she was talking about because of the fact that they are in the spotlight more. Because her boy or whoever, the baby dad, he's not in the spotlight like she is in the spotlight. And so it's a different dynamic when you have more eyes on you than somebody who does not have eyes on them all of the time. And so she was trying to say to her, I know that the weight of the social media, the weight of, the paparazzi, the weight of different social forums, all these things that people are saying about you, it can weigh on you. And she was telling her, so you do whatever you have to do to stay good. That's why she said what she said. It was not based around the fact of the situation, because the situation had already happened. It wasn't like Nicki said that and then she went out to be with Usher. That's the way you were trying to warp it to look
wrong.
Like. No,
I was simply stating that's what this was stemming from.
No, but you said it in a way in the sense of as if
Oh
that
my
she
God.
went and she did the Usher thing after Nicki said
I
that.
ain't
That's
say
not
all
how.
that.
That's
ain't
how
what
it
I said.
appeared. So I just wanted to clear that up. You know, I listen.
Would you let
Be,
Usher?
be, no, I have to do house cleaning because this is my show. It is on. You know, it's out there. So I had to make clarification about certain things. All right. Y'all see, this is good. I just want y'all to see how things have to sometimes be structured. All right.
This is a great topic
I
of
already
conversation,
said
actually.
I'm fine with it.
I ain't fine with it.
First of all, he's an entertainer.
Sometimes entertainment goes too far. That was rated R. Keep it PG.
Oh my gosh,
Say
it was
20
not
feet
rated
back.
R. He is an R&B singer.
Yeah, it has R in the name.
And who is his audience? Mainly women.
Yeah, but you're not singing to my woman like that. Go sing to some other woman in the
Oh
audience,
my
not
God.
mine. That ain't happening.
That sounds stupid because if she was not famous, how would you know that she was somebody else's woman?
What do you mean? This happens all the time. Men come out all the time saying, "Nah,
Men
that's
come
too
out
much."
all the time. Who?
Men who have women
Exactly.
that
So
have been to Usher shows.
the point is we don't know anything about anybody else except the whole thing with people who are popular, who are famous, right? Because that's who the
Okay,
that's who
next
the
topic.
focus.
I wouldn't let
That's who the
Usher sing to
focus
my
is
woman like
on.
that. That's too
All
much.
right. Next topic. All right. Other topic. And that is there has been talks about a cyber attack happening possibly globally. This the only reason why I'm bringing this up because if you all have not heard yet about the situation with Easy Pass. Easy Pass is a company that's over tolls on mainly the East Coast, but they have been hacked, and so people have been getting emails, text messages from random Yahoo's .com, random Outlook.com, random iCloud.com,
Gmail.
Email messages from just random names, random people. And now Easy Pass is caught on, and when you call them up on the phone, they'll say, we are experiencing a cyber issue, and do not attempt to reach back out to these people who are claiming that you owe an outstanding balance, you owe X, Y, and Z, because it's a scam.
My God.
But I'm saying all that to say is the reason why this so-called cyber attack may happen is if you look on World Economic Forum, and I'll have it on the screen, they are supposed to be doing a simulation about how the country will respond if a cyber pandemic happens. Basically, in this simulation that they're supposed to have, the reason why this cyber attack would take place is because the internet has been polluted and it needs to be cleansed. And the only way to cleanse the internet would bring the entire power grid down.
COVID-19 pandemic has shaken our economies and societies to the core and shown us how vulnerable we are to biological threats. In the digital world, similar risks are being overlooked right now. A cyber attack with COVID-like characteristics would spread faster and further than any biological virus. Its reproductive rate would be around 10 times greater than what we've experienced with the coronavirus. To give you an idea, one of the fastest worms in history, the 2003 slammer sapphire worm, doubled in size approximately every 8.5 seconds, infecting over 75,000 devices in 10 minutes and almost 11 million devices in 24 hours. Fortunately, at least until now, cyber attacks have not impacted our health the way pandemics have, but the economic damages, and therefore the impact they have had on our daily lives, have been equal and sometimes even greater. You see, the only way to stop the exponential propagation of a COVID-like cyber threat is to fully disconnect the millions of vulnerable devices from one another and from the internet. All of this in a matter of days. A single day without the internet would cost our economies more than $50 billion, and that's before considering the economic and societal damages should these devices be linked to essential services such as transport or healthcare. As the digital realm increasingly merges with our physical world, the ripple effects of cyber attacks on our safety just keep on expanding at a faster pace than what we're preparing for.
But I'm saying this is because in my mind, just because of certain things that I know, I believe that this little trickle of these emails and text messages that are coming in, because EasyPass is huge. EasyPass works all the way from Maine to the Carolinas, up and down the East Coast. And there are other states as well past the Carolinas where you can use EasyPass. But I know for sure from from North Carolina all the way up to Maine, you can use EasyPass. That's millions of people that could be possibly affected by this hack with EasyPass. So I just think that that little trickle right there, it could be a sign of this cyber attack may really happen and the power grid may actually come down. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. I can't tell y'all everything that I know because I just can't. But the cyber attack thing has been on my mind for at least 2 months straight. So I'm just telling y'all, we need to be prepared. And one thing that you need to be prepared is you need to have cash on hand, because if the power grid does go down, it means you won't have access to anything like your bank accounts. So you know, for however long it may be down, you're gonna have to purchase things with cash. You know, you're not gonna be able to go to the bank. You're not gonna be able to go to the ATM. So, I know it may seem far fetched, but I think it's something that you definitely need to keep in mind. And, you know, all I can do is present to you all the information. As me and Sam Sosa have said over and over and over on this show, do your research.
And this comes in with our sponsorship from Ground News. That brings you both research from the left and the right and the middle. So that way you don't have to worry about being biased towards one side. Shout out to Ground News. Love y'all.
Who is Ground News? What?
They're a great aggregation news site, actually. They present both sides of the argument, not just one. I would highly recommend it. Throwing you a sponsorship.
Okay. I'm going to have to look up this Ground News.
Really good.
And
just use my code groundnews/A Phillips when you sign up for 15% off.
bombastic side eye.
Bombaclat.
Okay. On another topic, and we're going to wrap it up. Do you think, if in regards to something that people may think is out there that you think may be true as a conspiracy theory or just a thought?
All right, so this is going to be a crazy one. And I didn't tell you this beforehand, so he does not know. My biggest conspiracy theory. I believe that Oral Roberts University is a great university to attend. 4 years, get a great education in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
What is your conspiracy theory?
Keep that in there. No, but conspiracy theory. I had this conversation a couple months ago with somebody. I can't remember who. But I think, well, I can't even say if this is a conspiracy because this is like a well-known secret at this point. All of these companies like iPhone, Apple, and all that stuff, they literally have all of our information, like literally everything from bank account to location to all the stuff. It's written in the terms and agreements, actually. We just sign up for it because we don't read it. And we get surprised when we see these ads or when we get mail or when we see specific like pop-ups come up on our phone about certain things. So that's my conspiracy theory, but I feel like it's all one that we all subscribe to no matter what, because we just want the latest iPhone or we just want the latest iPad or whatever it might be. And I know that you do work in that space, so you know more than I do. But
oh my gosh, not him putting my personal work out there, y'all.
I just said work. I didn't say who it was for, what you do.
They do not know that stuff.
Oh, well, anyway, all I'm saying is that we sign up for these things with user agreements, and they, I mean, Apple, as much as they say privacy, they literally control millions upon millions of, well, I can't say the word control. They have access to millions upon millions of people's bank accounts, social security, personal emails, like everything, really. Also, did you know that Apple can, I just learned, this was a couple years ago, this was over COVID, so you couldn't like go anywhere to like get your like stuff fixed. My laptop had a problem, so I called them. Well, I didn't even call them. I think I like emailed them, and then the dude was like, "Hey, let me take control of your MacBook," and he remotely took control of my MacBook from his location and fixed it for me.
Yeah, that is actually a thing. That's
Yeah.
a thing. That's not just a thing with Apple. That's a thing with Microsoft as
Mhm.
well.
So all I'm saying is they really could just
They
do
could.
whatever, and like when
And
they
what
want
he's
to.
saying, I've personally seen firsthand.
Mhm.
My mom had an issue with her laptop, and she has it's operated off of Microsoft Windows, and she was talking to a tech guy who works with Microsoft, and he just asked for a few of her information from her computer. He literally hacked her computer right there. Like her thing was moving, everything was moving on her computer, and he fixed the issue though
Yep.
that she was having with her computer, but he did it from wherever he was.
Mhm.
But that what you just said is something that I sort of hinted on my last episode about privacy and the movement of tech, the movement of technology. And I said on that last episode, you all should watch Eagle Eye, the movie with Shia LaBeouf and
It's a good film.
R.I.P. Cameron Boyce, young Cameron Boyce at that time. But I had this conversation with this lady who works for Bank of America a few months ago, and we were just talking about how privacy is gone, and it's been gone for years.
Yep.
It's gone. I said I told her just thinking that you have privacy is just to make you feel comfortable. But I mean, the real reality is we don't have privacy anymore. I've accepted that. That is the truth, and that's why what I just talked about with Easy Pass is so big. Do you know that millions of people use Easy Pass every single day just to go into New York City?
Yeah.
You have to go. The only way from outside of the state of New York to get into New York, like New York City, you have to go through an Easy Pass toll from George Washington to Lincoln Tunnel, Holland Tunnel, or Verrazano Bridge. You have to go through Easy Pass. And I'm going to do some more research on this. I'm going to show you the video, but I'm going to do some more research on it myself, and hopefully I will get back to you all. But I heard that there was a private acquisition done where China now owns Easy Pass.
I think you would have to do some research on that, but
but as soon as I heard that information, it was shortly after all these spams started happening. The spams with all these random people getting text messages, which would make sense.
yeah. I mean,
I'm not going to say much more on that because, as some of you already know, I've been taken down off of YouTube and TikTok in the past for saying certain
I don't have
things.
TikTok actually.
I don't have TikTok
mine off my
anymore,
phone.
but I'm just saying I've been taken down several times on TikTok for saying certain things. And YouTube and Google actually on another page that I used to have, but that is down now, they sent me a letter telling me you cannot say this.
Well,
you cannot do this.
And you know what's interesting? While you were talking, I personally think the reason they removed the fingerprint ID, I don't think it was to make it more convenient. I think it was so they can get access to your phones easier. Because if you think about it, with a fingerprint, you would literally have to physically, like, even if you wanted to remotely do it, you would have to get them to unlock their phone first.
Yeah.
But now with the facial recognition, you can just find a photo and just get in. That's just I can't prove that, but I personally think that's why they moved to it. It's just easier to get into stuff now. Versus fingerprint, you actually had to put in some effort. You would actually have to get them to open their iPhone first.
Listen, when me and Sam get back together, we're going to go more into depth on this. But this goes deeper than you all think. Even when, and let me just say, shout out to Max Brammer. Max Brammer was on my show a few months ago.
What's up, Max?
We're all me, Afriye, and Max. We're all like brodies.
Yep.
And both Max and Afriye, they both live out in Colorado. And so we sort of talked about this a little, but this whole tech thing, this whole iPhone, the whole security stuff I'm telling you, it's all warped together in regards to what I just mentioned about a possible cyber attack. And it is an easier way to have what, is in the conspiracy world as the new one world order government. Because if they have all your information, they can control you. It's just like a leash. Right now we think, we have all this, I'm going to end on this, you guys. And I've never said this before, but I'm going to end on this. And I think this is a good way to end. And this is so deep. I don't even want to share it, but I think that people would enjoy this. People who are close to me may be like, "Oh my gosh, what?" But I'm gonna say it anyways. But before I get there, I just want to say, yeah, this whole the whole leash. If you ever had an animal like a dog, sometimes they have the retractable leash. So when you loosen the leash, the dog thinks that he can go as far as he wants to go, until you lock that leash again, and he realizes he can only go but so far, and you can pull him back in anytime you want.
Drag him.
And I'm telling you, I believe that is the movement of the powers that be. They're trying to make you think that you have freedom and liberty, sort of just like how we just experienced in 2020, 2021, and 2022. Prior to 2020, we just thought, oh, we can do whatever we want. 2020, they kept y'all in the house. 2021, they loosened the leash a little when they said you can take a vaccine and you can go here and you can go there and you can go here and you can go there. And then, they dropped all that. 2022, whether you had a shot or not, is back to normal. And that's how it feels right now. It feels like we're back to normal, but we're not really back to normal. So it will be interesting to see what a cyber back to reality. My God. It will be interesting to see if this cyber pandemic happens, because what will happen? The leash will be pulled back in. You won't have access to anything, electronically for a period of time. But that goes to what I'm about to say. And let me just say this, because I think it's important to just say this. So, the indigenous people for thousands of years, when the men in certain, and it's not all indigenous tribes, but certain indigenous tribes, in order to become a man, you would have to do a vision quest. And what a vision quest was is you would have to have somebody from the other side, the spirit world, speak to you. And then you would have to come back to the tribe and report what you had, what encounters you had, what you heard. And the only way you could become a man is if you heard something from the other side and you reported it back to the tribe. And so I'm saying all that. And they did that by smoking weed, what we know as weed.
What? Where did you hear this from?
I know this for a fact.
From who?
I know this from different indigenous people.
Where is this going? What does that
This
have to
is
do with
going.
technology?
This is going to what I'm about to end on. I'm glad you said that, so that he was wondering where this is going, and I'm about to tell you all where it's going. So, I have tried weed before. Okay, so
I've never been high a day in my life.
Okay, good for you, bro. All right, but this one time, you gotta let me tell the story now. So this one time when I smoked weed, I had this vision. Okay, and that goes back to where I just talked about the indigenous people. I had this vision that I was in the year 2040, and in the year 2040, technology had advanced so much. And then I went through all the years of 2020, 2041, 2042, 2043, 2044, all the way up to 2050. And by the time 2050 had came, almost there was a consensus in the atmosphere that people realized that the whole movement of the advancement of technology was just to put everybody on a leash, like I just said. And to the point where people regretted what they had did with technology. People were so sad, people were scared because all these big tech companies were controlling everything. And
Which ones?
it wasn't specific. It was just this. I'm just telling you what I saw. And people were scared. And I'm not going to tell you what happened after that because I just there's just certain things I just can't share. Just like how I told you guys earlier, everything is not for you can't just share everything with everybody, and you have to know when to share certain things. But I'm just saying all that to say it's very interesting that I saw that, and we're seeing certain things play out like that, and we're also seeing things we've seen things play out like that in movies. But as me and Sosa have told you, and you can do your research on this, is that different production companies, their whole purpose is to push agendas. They're telling you what's happening so that you can already psychologically have it processing in your mind unconsciously that these things are going to happen. It's just like predictive programming. They're just basically telling you what's going to happen. It's in your face. Again, do your research. And I'm just here to share. All right. I love y'all. Y'all already know what's up.
And laugh.
Laugh.
At Drewski.
Again, we talked about mental health. Laugh. Do what you got to do for yourself to be good. Do whatever you have to do. Remember that there is a name to call on. That name is Jesus. I don't care what nobody else tell you. All right. I love y'all. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. It is your boy D.E.B.O with my guest Afriye Phillips. We'll have all his information for y'all.
Yep.
And on that, we are out.
You're
Whew.